the last, well, we talked about AC/DC, and I really think that along with The Who, a band where I say, guys, what are you doing, is Leonard Skinner. I mean, how is it that the plane crashes, the lead singer dies, and you decide to continue on? I look at it, you know, have 2 or 3 members of your band die. Of course, this also, I could bring up the New York Dolls too, but I'm not going to. That's for me.
That's for you.
That's for me.
That's for you to write about.
But the fact is, you know, 3 or 4 members of your band die, including the lead singer. How do you continue? How do you consider that the same band? How is that the same band?
It's almost like they kind of should have done what Jefferson Airplane did, but nothing really happened to Jefferson Airplane, did it? Except for they just broke up. Jefferson Airplane to Jefferson Starship, then just to Starship, to where they built this city on goddamn rock and roll.
I think I just threw up a little bit in my mouth.
I think they maybe should have changed it to just like
We Suck,
Skinnerd, or you know,
or the actually.
It would have been really appropriate to be like Skinnerd Airplane, but
I heard that's terrible. That's really bad. That's a joke that I would make. But there was, for a while, there was a Rossington Collins band where Gary Rossington started another band that essentially played all those songs, didn't call themselves Lynyrd Skynyrd, and I see less of a problem with that than I do with calling yourself Lynyrd Skynyrd. I mean, I understand wanting to continue with an art form because it's what you love and what you do best. But how do you sleep at night and go forward when the band as a whole no longer exists? 3 or 4 members died in that plane crash. Another one died a year or 2 afterwards. How do you go forward and say, okay, guys, we're Lynyrd Skynyrd? Where's the rest of the band? I mean, I'm making light of a plane crash, which is awful, but
it is. But
I look at it not as much talking about a plane crash, but talking about cultural history. We talk about musical history. And go ahead.
To me, it would have been like, say the Beatles were still together when John Lennon died. If somebody replaced John Lennon, it would have been worse than Wings.
Let's not even talk about Wings.
When we talk about Wings.
I think that one last thing I really think we should talk about, because it's really relevant to the conversation, and a totally different way to go, is Joy Division. Joy Division. For those of you that are not in the know, Joy Division's lead singer Ian Curtis commits suicide by hanging himself. And the guys in the band essentially sat down and said, what are we going to do now? I mean, they were huge, or getting huge, selling a lot of records, touring the UK, touring Europe. And then they were about to leave for an American tour. And bang, the songwriting lead force of that band commits suicide. And you sit there and you say to yourself, what the hell do we do now? Now, I just saw the documentary about the band, and Bernard Sumner sits there and says, we said, if one of us leaves, the band is over. If one of us decides they don't want to do it anymore, we are no longer New Order. Well, pardon me, I just let it go. We're no longer Joy Division. So, they sit there, and they look at each other and say, okay, we're not Joy Division anymore.
New Order.
What are we? And they become New Order, and New Order eventually sells one of the best-selling 10-inch singles of all time, Blue Monday. Sell out concerts all over the world. Sell platinum of those records. A band that is essentially the exponent, the after effect of Joy Division, and still a major cultural force in their own right. You can't not talk about them. And I guess in closing, we're going to talk about one last thing, and that's INXS.
Yes.
I think you're gonna have to take this one because I'm not so sure.
So the front man of In Excess.
Michael Hutchins.
Yes, there we go. I'm sorry. He
maybe I know more about In Excess than I lay on.
But maybe I was going somewhere with that.
Perhaps you were. Go ahead. Go forth and conquer. Go ahead.
So he ends up committing suicide late 80s, early 90s after they're riding the wave of, Need You Tonight and all their big singles.
I have to say there was talk at the time that it was autoerotic asphyxiation as well. But we're never going to know what was in Michael's head.
Regardless, he passes away. And I remember hearing that his wife also passed away right after that.
Paula Yates, yeah.
Yeah, everybody kind of was affected by that. And then, what was it, 3 or 4 years ago, you get this reality show looking for the next frontman.
For In Excess.
I guess in closing, I kind of want to,
hit somebody over the head with a tire iron!
Basically. So, and I don't even know who they chose, but I just can't imagine. And wasn't it somebody really ridiculous, like Tommy Lee or something, judging it?
Yeah, I'm sure that I actually, now that you bring it up, I think I recall Tommy Lee being a judge. Not even the members of In Excess. Tommy Lee.
Yeah, exactly. So, oh my God. So that's a big train wreck. So that's the kind of the point where we're getting to as we're discussing this. So if you guys have any input on, any of the bands that we've talked about, any of the bands that we haven't spoken about, let us know. Comments.
There are many that really could be
interesting.
Yeah, right there. Right.
You're pointing at the monitor.
I know.
Back yeah. Okay.
Okay, but yeah, please comment.
Comment.
But in closing, handle things with honor. Think about what your bandmate would have wanted you to do.
Exactly.
Think if they have wanted you to go forward, even if it is about the money or isn't about the money. I really think you need to sit down and think about that. And
also asking you guys, what bands do you think, if the front man passed on, do you think could have some sort of success afterwards, after death, replacing that person? And what bands do you think rely solely on their front man? I think, obviously, if something happened to... What are you doing there?
Not the Stones.
Not the Stones. We're not gonna.
Sorry.
It's okay,
really.
Jeremy. Jeremy, we're cool with you.
I love you, man.
Okay. Anyway, so yeah, discuss and all that fun stuff.
Comment, please, and again, mod notes. Comment. Have your friends comment.
Join.
Please publicize.
Tell people to freaking join.
Publicize. Thank you very much.
Or you'll have to see our faces again and...
I have teeth!
Bye, y'all.
Bye.